Hello, hello. Looks like we're live. I'm just gonna mess with the lighting here. Let's see. So it's a little bit early. I'm using my computer's camera, so it's gonna be kind of grainy. So it's not your reception. It's the camera that I'm using. Hey, Smallzilla's here. Harley's here. Buckskin NYB or Marty. Hello, hello. All right, let me post or let me make the auction go or whatever. Let me post or make the auction public. Yeah. Bren is here. Drew's Concrete. Hey, hey. Yeah, I'm using my computer's camera, so it's going to be all blurry and grainy. Yeah, so I'll just make do with what I got. Let's see. I'm going to make the auction public here. Smallzilla says, I was going to pop in for a quick second and then do my afternoon exercise. I'll be back to chill and listen to the ambiance. Alrighty. Awesome. Exercise, exercise. Yes, yes. So let me see. What do we got here? I'm on the wrong app. I got to get into the YouTube app, not the studio app. Gary is here. Gary Reed. Jermaine. Graylin is here. Good evening. Good evening. All right, let's see. Where is my video? Mm-hmm. Yeah, auction 8J. All right, so edit and public. Yes, everything is okay. Yeah. So every Monday I have an auction. I have three live streams every week. Quality varies until I can get my camera and studio set up properly. First hour is chat. Second hour is napping. I'm going to walk my computer and myself to the shop for the napping in 1 hour. And then I'll nap for 45 minutes and then wrap it up in the last 15 minutes. Right now, I'm in my living room, dining room, office. Yeah, it doubles or it triples 3 different rooms in the same room and studio now. But I'm not going to keep this stuff in here in the house. I'm going to move everything to the shop eventually and turn my shop into a studio as well as the shop and invest in some camera equipment. I mean, some lighting equipment. I've already invested in my camera equipment, but I need microphone and lighting now. Yeah, hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth of stuff. Let's see. Let's see. Gary says, cool, extra 10 minutes of rock shop. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, first hour is nothing but chat. If you're new, we probably don't have any new people right now. If you don't know, first hour is chat. Second hour is napping. So we can talk about whatever we want in the first hour. Yes, yes. Questions and stuff. I'll try to answer questions on any topic related to Flintknapping. We don't normally discuss other topics, although we can, hunting and stuff. Let's see. What are you napping tonight? I don't know. I think I was going to nap some Obsidian. Since I'm going to be in the shop, I can nap Obsidian. I still got a lot of bifaces to refurbish, so I'll probably be napping that. I will probably be napping that. Yeah. So, yeah. There'll be daylight when I go back there, so maybe the lighting will be better. I don't know. I can wish. Better than last time. Let's see. I'm going to be traveling next month. Well, it's almost next month, right? I'll be traveling, so I'll make the announcements when there won't be any live streams. I'm going to be missing quite a few live streams. I'll try to do live streams from locations where I am, but I'll be traveling for 3 weeks. I know the first week of travel there will be no live streams that week, but I'll give you an advance warning. Jeremy's here. Hey, from Kentucky. Awesome. If you don't know, I'm from Vermont. I'm living in Vermont. I mean, I'm not from Vermont, but this is where my dad's house is. And now I'm living in my dad's house. Gary, Gary says, I fed my hounds early tonight, so I didn't miss anything. So I won't miss anything. Good, cool. Yeah. We talk about extremely important stuff on the live stream. Oh, yes. You don't want to miss it. Danny Moore says hi. Let's see. Now that I remember, I'm going to try to put together a list of nappers on YouTube that I recommend for various things. Like if you want to see blade cores, blades, and blade cores, look up Peter Wyking with a W, not a V. Wyking, Peter Wyking. If you want to see large blades, Gulf Coast Knapping. And there's a couple guys doing flake over grind that I recommend, but I can't remember their names right now exactly. I want to get it exact. So I don't know their names exactly or the YouTube names exactly. But I'll be putting together a list of recommended YouTubers for various other kinds of napping that I'm not going to be doing. I'm not going to be doing blades from blade cores. I'm not going to be doing large blades. I'm not going to be doing flake over grind. Okay? I'm going back to the original channel focus, which is indirect percussion. And the style that I invented, the behind the knee indirect percussion, with small points, 4 inches and less. Yeah. So I can start enjoying the process again. For a while there, I was getting burned out. Yeah. And I will be doing some special types of flaking, like the Cody complex type of flaking. I will be doing more Clovis points and stuff. I may attempt a Folsom or two. I haven't decided if I'm going to buy a jig for that or not. I might just buy a jig to make it easier to make the Folsoms, but I'm going to try to make them without the jigs. And Cumberlands, I'm going to have a jig, or build up my strength to do those long flutes with pressure, with a simple hand pressure, maybe even percussion. But the longer the flake, the more easily it is done with pressure. Yeah, you switch over from percussion to pressure, the longer the flake is. Unless you can develop some sort of vertical punch technique, and they may have been using vertical punch techniques on the Cumberlands. I don't know. Mike Mason says howdy. Let's see. Gary says free counseling. Gary says, why did you stop using solid copper boppers? I still have the solid copper boppers. You mean the solid copper billets? The bars? Why did I stop using those? I messed up my knuckle on those. The knuckle on my index finger of my right hand using the solid copper billet. Yeah, the billets. Yeah, that's why I stopped using those. That my knuckles got to heal up. I used to just work through the pain, but when you do that, you develop arthritis. So it's got to heal up completely. I still feel like I messed it up somehow. I don't know how I did it. and it felt like it was dislocated slightly. And yeah, I was knapping some pretty tough chert with the big old copper billet. So I bought a set of copper boppers, solid. Let's see. Mike Mason. It all started when I was young. A pair of woodpecker lips. I was softer than. Okay. I didn't see the first. It says message retracted. So I don't know the context of what that means. Bill Hansen. Hey. Jared is here. Hello, Patrick and peeps. Hey, hey. You're right on time. Yes. And there's an auction going on in case you don't know. It's not a live auction. I just post a video and then I announce the winners at 9 p.m. Eastern time. You bid in the comment section. Yeah, everybody say hi. Yes, yes. Everyone probably knows everybody by now. And if you want me to give someone your contact info, just email me, or in the chat you can say, hey, can you please give my contact info to so and so and so? If I have so and so's contact info, I will send it to them. Sometimes somebody says, can you send my contact info to so and so? And I don't have so and so's contact info, so I can't send yours to that one, to that person. So yeah, sometimes I can't do it, but I'll let you know if I can't do it. Otherwise, if you have a channel, it makes it easy for people to contact you. You put your email address as part of your channel description. Everyone has to have a channel, right, in order to comment, I think. So just put your email or some contact info in your profile so people can contact you. So all I got to do is like click on the icon in the chat maybe and go to your channel. Let's see, can I go to someone's, I don't want to mess it up, but you might be able to go to the channel just by clicking on that little round icon and go to that person's channel and see if they have a contact info. I encourage people to contact each other so that they can share materials and information. Yeah. So I'm going to check the auction. If I see a bid, I'll put a like on it. You'll know that I see your bid if there's a like on it. If I don't like it, it probably means I can't see it. Sometimes YouTube is glitchy and not everyone can see everybody's comments. But I do like using the YouTube format for my auctions because I've gotten used to it. It's been done on other, hold on a second. It has been done on other platforms like, I didn't get the idea for my auction for this, but you can do it on Twitter or X Twitter. You can do auctions on there in the comment section. As an example, people have been doing it on X Twitter for a while. I'm doing it on YouTube, and YouTube is a little bit glitchy. It's not as consistent as X Twitter. You know what I mean? But it's still useful. It still works for the most part. So I had no bids so far in the auction, but it's only been a few minutes. Right? Okay. So yeah, if you have questions, the first hour is just chat. Or discuss, you want to discuss anything in particular is fine. It doesn't matter. Let's see. Gary Reed says, I don't have a channel. I just happy I can spell my wife's name right. We'll put some kind of contact information in the profile. Let's see. Mike Mason says, man, I got to go see the auction. That opalized glass looks so dreamy. Yeah. Now's your chance to pick up some opalized glass. Let's see. Asking how that Knife River Flint is working. Yeah, Marty or Buckskin NYB has been gifting people the Knife River Flint, which is very generous. And he gave me a batch just a little while ago. So I need to get into that too. And so far, so good. The pieces that I've napped so far have been excellent from that last batch. Yes, yes. Okay, so everything's good. Everything's good. So I'll just be reading comments or whatever. If I think of something in the meantime, between reading comments, I'll just blurt it out. I'm trying to remember. I did not do a channel news last week. I couldn't think of anything because I was already talked out, I guess, during the live streams. There will be some channel news coming up because I have to announce when I'm not going to be doing live streams. I'll be traveling next month. I'm going to a Knapping in Texas. And I also have to visit family. I have to because I haven't seen them in a while. Let's see. Mike says, I would love to bid on it. Ask Alan Cole how that would go through. How that would go, though. I'm talking about the opalized glass. Gary says, I'm only here for the door prize before Bushy wins it. Danny Moore says, absolutely loved it, Marty. I have several preforms ready to pressure flake. Talking about the Knife River Flint. I see. So, yeah, if you want to bid in the auction, just go ahead. You might be able to pick up something for cheap. I've got the little hand axe and flakes. I think that's going to be the cheapest or the least expensive item to bid on this time. I decided to include that because the nodule for that little hand axe was just perfect for making a hand axe. After I had broke the tip off, I said, yeah, I'm not going to try to make a point out of it now because it's just going to be a small 3-inch point. I'd rather just make a hand axe because that nodule was just right. Anyways, Danny Moore says, Marty, I have a hand pad coming in a couple of days and I'm going to do some pressure flaking. Awesome. Yeah, I will be doing some myself as far as pressure flaking. I never used to do a lot, but I'm going to be doing a lot more. You know, when I first started the channel, I was doing minimal pressure flaking. And the type of pressure flaking I was doing was mostly newbie type, very simple pressure flaking. Hey, super chat, Danny Moore, $20. Thank you, thank you. Let's see. He says $20 since I don't bid in the auction. Well, thank you very much. That's very generous. That's awesome. Very cool. And this week's auction, I decided to auction off all my preforms that I had made this week, or the bifaces that I made this week. Yeah. Instead of saving them up. Sometimes I save them up for myself. Gary says, did your sister ever come for a visit this summer? No. But she, let's see. Or did she? I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of the times that I described it. She did come to visit. Now, I don't know if it was early summer or middle of summer. I can't remember exactly. She did come to visit this year. Now, it might have been early summer. But I'm getting mixed up because I think she said she was going to come in late summer and didn't. But she did visit this year. I drove down to where she was staying. And yeah, I got to see her. Her and my brother-in-law. Yeah, they both came to visit. Now, I grew up in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, which is 2.5 hours or 2 hours away from here. That's where she was staying in a hotel in Portsmouth. So I drove over there to see. So yeah, I did get to see her. And but I'm also going to get to see her when I go down to Texas this time for the fall nap in Brady, Texas. It's about 2 hours from her house. So I can go visit. Yes, yes. All right, so I'm just checking the auction and whatever else. I've gotten notifications. Hey, okay, so the KRF Art Point has a bid, and so does the box of bifaces and one broke. That little arrowhead and the box of 10 bifaces. Yeah, the boxes of bifaces are a popular item for sure. Yeah. I tend to not sell too many of those because then I run out of stuff. Gary says, did you teach her to nap also? No, my sister's not interested in napping at all. No, she doesn't. I think she watched like 1 minute of one of my videos. Yeah, it's funny. And she's maybe watched 5 minutes of me sitting napping. I think she sat, well, probably longer than that. I think she sat with me a couple of times while I was napping at her house. Yeah. I did some auctions while I was staying at her house as a guest. I had to do some auctions during that time. So when I was preparing and making stuff, I think she would sit with me. She sat with me at least once. So yeah. But that's where I started gathering materials for napping because in her landscape, she's got these little pebbles of agate in her landscape rocks. I was napping those when I first started napping many years ago. Yeah. In Texas, they have a lot of landscape rocks or, yeah, a lot of landscape rocks that are agates and cherts, but they call it bull gravel. Yeah. And it comes in various sizes. If you're in Texas, try to get the large bull gravel, not the little bitty ones, because the little bitty ones are more common, and you can only get maybe an inch and a half arrowhead out of one of those at the most. You get the large bull gravel, and you can get 3-inch, 4-inch points. It's not easy to nap though. I recommend heat treating that stuff. Bull gravel is not the best stuff to learn on unless you heat treat it. Then it becomes good stuff to learn on. But of course, you have to test it out. Not all of the bull gravel is good. Some of it's excellent. Some of it's really bad. It might look great, but it doesn't nap great in some cases. Yeah, looks are very deceiving when it comes to rocks, both in terms of being able to find stuff to nap. It might look great. You bring it home and it's just terrible to nap. And also with artifacts, you cannot tell if the artifact is made from nice stone or bad stone. Chances are, if it's a fancy artifact and well made, it's made from nice stone, quote unquote, nice stone. Danny Moore says Texas sounds like it's pretty much chert with a thin layer of sand on top. No, Texas is 99% limestone and 1% chert. But it's so big that 1% is substantial. Yeah, Texas as a whole is so huge that 1% is significant. But it's all limestone there. Everything's limestone. Yeah. And it seems like you're either swimming in flint and chert or there isn't any where you are in Texas. When I lived in Central Texas, when I lived in Austin and Round Rock, there was lots. But living in Midland and in South Texas, there was nothing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Gary says when you are at the Knapping in Texas, do a walk around video. Yeah, I'm going to do a walk around video and interview every vendor and try to get as many nappers on film that are not shy. I'll say, hey guys, I'm doing a video. because I'm under obligation now. I got to do it. I'll be walking around with my camera like this, my phone, camera phone. I said, okay, guys, now's your chance to get famous. And I'll do that from now on the nap-ins that I go to, instead of just doing it quickly. Like I was at the Flint Ridge or Coshocton nap-in in Ohio, and I just did a very fast walk around, and people were saying, "Hey, I want to see everything." What? That was not good enough. I want to see everything. Yeah, okay, fine. Let's see. Gary says that can count for a live stream if I do a walk around. I suppose, yeah. Yeah. Friday night live stream, I'll just post a walk around video. The thing is, at the nap-in in Texas, there's no reception, or barely any. So what I'm going to have to do is film and then drive somewhere that has reception. Sometimes the truck stops have good reception, so I'll probably have to film at the nap-in, and then that night drive to a truck stop and then upload the video. Yeah, because if I try to upload a video at the nap-in, it takes like 6 hours to do a 30-minute video upload. How do I know? I don't know. But anyway, the truck stop nearby, I think it's a Love's or something like that. I think it has good reception. JF Baird is here. Hello, everyone. Hope everyone is doing great. Yes. Well, I don't know everybody, but I'm doing great. Everything's good. It's warmer here than I would expect, though, for late September. Yeah, it was 90 degrees in the shop today, and same as yesterday. It figures because it was nice and cool the rest of the week, but I was doing other things. I save all my napping for the last 3 days of the week. I nap now Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. But I did a lot of napping at night over this past week, but it was mostly bifaces. But it was nice and cool until I had to actually do a lot of napping. Then it was like, I tried to move away from the heat. I can't stand the heat. And there it is, 90 degrees in the shop here in Vermont. Of course, it's 10 to 20 degrees hotter in the shop than it is outside. But, I thought it was going to be at least like 60s during the day, but it's not. It's in the 70s and almost 80. Or was it 80 today? 83? Let's see. How hot was it today? Yeah, it was like 80 degrees today. 79. Yeah, and the day before it was like 83. It's ridiculous. Jared is here. Awesome stuff in the auction. Let's see. Thank you. Mike Mason says, I got a birdie to finish, but the sweat feels uncomfortable with practically no breeze. Just get a fan. Hey, Sal is in the house. Hey, Patrick and everybody. Hey, Sal. I'm going to see you soon. Yeah. You are going to be at the nap-in, right? You said you were, even though I think you said it was sooner than you expected. Yeah. It's going to be fun. I'll be there by Friday afternoon or Friday night. Yeah. If everything goes well, I should be there like Friday afternoon. Lee Steinmeier is here. Afternoon, nappers. Let's see. Yeah, we got 17 people. Let's see. What time is it? What's everybody doing on a Monday? Everyone's busy. We usually have 20 or 30 people by now. Anyways, they're waiting for the napping, I bet you. They're going to be here at the top of the hour. Yeah, and I'm going to walk the computer and myself over to the shop and sit down in there and do some napping, probably Obsidian bifaces, because I got a lot of bifaces to refurbish. Brian Olson sent me a bunch of bifaces, and I mixed them in with some other ones too, so I'm not sure if they're all from Brian, but they might be. I think I mixed in some other ones, but I can't remember. So let's see. What else is on the agenda? Yeah, Lee Steinmeier says, I'm better at napping or sleeping than napping. Yeah. Are you a flint snapper or are you a flint napper? Danny Moore says, man, I'm about ready for some obsidian. I ordered some black Mexican obsidian yesterday. Yeah, I've got to nap that big old chunk of obsidian that I got from Danny Collins. It's a huge piece, over 20 inches long. I was thinking of doing that this week before I leave on my travels. Yeah, I'll probably set it up and do that this week. I've got most of my stuff already packed. It's not in the car, but it's already set up to go. I'm not bringing that much material with me. I usually pick up material when I'm there at the nap-in. Yeah. I need material for 3 auctions. I can usually get by with 1 bucket of material, very selective in the material, make sure it's all good quality. I only need 1 bucket of stuff for 3 auctions. So I want to travel as light as possible. Because I know I'll be traveling heavy on the way back because I'll have lots of rocks and I'll have wood and I'll have deer meat and all kinds of stuff. Let's see. Gary says, I don't nap obsidian anymore. It makes me bring too many leaks. Yeah. That is a problem. I don't nap that much obsidian either. It creates a lot of dust in the shop too. But the glass dust, luckily, is not as hazardous as the rock dust. Yeah, the rock dust is what will give you silicosis faster than anything else. I think glass dust might give you silicosis, but it doesn't react with the lungs the same way as rock dust. Oh yeah, Gary says the blood thinner. Oh, if you're on blood thinners and you're springing a leak from napping, yeah, that's a problem. That's an issue. Mm-hmm. My dad was on blood thinners, and any little bump, he would start bleeding. As you get older, your skin gets thinner too, so that's double trouble. He would tear his skin very easily just by bumping against something like the wall or the bed or whatever. I can imagine what it would be like if you're on blood thinners and do a lot of glass napping and stuff. Yeah. Just wear gloves, man. So, yeah, people are bidding in the auction. Ralph Snyder, I see a bunch of your bids. I don't know. Ralph's either lurking or he's not in the chat. Ralph Snyder, yay. Lots of bids. So, yeah, not everybody in the auction is also in the chat. Mm-hmm. Very good, very good. I'm looking to see. Yeah, the boxes of bifaces do very well, and so does the Knife River Flint. Whenever I offer the Knife River Flint, it does very well. Mike Mason says, I got some yarrow and dry leaves. It's called soldier's work because it stops bleeding nearly instantly. I got some yarrow and dry the leaves. Okay, so yarrow is probably like a plant, like a flower type plant, right? Danny Moore says, Harley posted some really sweet preforms in the community. Yeah, I saw those. Let me take a look and see what else. Mm-hmm. What else has been posted? Ralph Snyder posted some barbed and tanged arrowheads. I think I've seen these yet from a website. Yep. I need to make some barbed and tanged arrowheads because I still have bullhead flint and Danish flint to knap. Yes. And I posted the gift I received from Bill Taylor. He sent me a box with 3 points that he made. Yes, yes. And there's a lot of good posts in the community. This is Harley's batch of latest. Can't see, huh? Yeah. He took some good pictures that show the flake scars pretty well. Probably can't see. Not with this grainy camera. But anyways, yeah. If you have something you want to post, do it in the community section. And you'll be famous. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see. Mike Mason says, yeah, herbaceous plant. Looks like wild carrot. Trippinate leaves that look lacy. Talking about yarrow. Bill Hansen says, anyone know how to view the community on an iPad? There should be a button for it. Just keep looking for buttons. Go to my channel. It should have a button for a community. Now, an iPad, I don't know, because the apps for each thing, like an app for the computer is different from the app for the phone, is different from the app for iPads, right? But you should just look around for the button that says community. Go to my channel, and it should have a community button that you push. Marty says, I bid on the KRF, Patrick. Sweet. Let's see. Let's see. So yeah, there's an auction video that I posted, and then I'll declare the winners tonight at 9 p.m. And I'm just checking to see. I'll put a like on your bids when I see the bids. And your bids are the comments, and the comments are the replies. Everything's the same. Oh, dang. You did bid quite a good bid on the Knife River Flint. Marty? Wow. Thanks. Yes, yes. Are you trying to win or what? I think you're trying to win those. Man. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for the generous bids. Alan Cole is here. Hey. Sal says, I'll be there Thursday by noon. I can be your camera guy. All right, cool. I wish I could leave sooner, but the soonest I can leave is like Tuesday afternoon, and it takes me 4 days to get there. Or I break it up into 4 days. The soonest I can leave is Tuesday afternoon. Yeah. After I do my shipping. Of course, I can do that stuff on the road too. But I want to do the live stream and the auction here in the house and not on the road. And I don't want to take all my items on the road with me to do the shipping out of town. So as soon as I can leave is like Tuesday afternoon. I mean, I could leave, sooner than that next week, but then I'd have to do the auction completely somewhere else, somewhere on the road. I've done that before. I've done the auctions while I was on the road, but it's always a hassle to try to find a good place with good reception. And I won't be able to do a live stream. Let's see. Lee Steinmeier. The iPad is all I use, but I don't know much about it. I'm old and not techie. Yeah, all I can say is just look for a community button. Alan Cole says, Patrick, you better hurry to get to Brady. I'm sending Sal a box to share with you and your friends. Awesome. Hey, Red-Eyed Patriot, what's up, everybody? Hope you're doing well. Oh, yes. Yeah, Sal says, that's awesome, Alan. Yeah, awesome that you're sending a box of gift rocks. That's cool. That's very good. I'll film it too. So I think Sal will probably just save it until we can film it. Mm-hmm. So let me see what else we got going on here. Nothing else. Sometimes I get an email during the live stream, but so far so good. No emails during the live stream. Why do people sometimes email me during the live stream? Because I got a bunch of stuff to write, and you can't fit it in the comment section. That's the last. I think that's one of the reasons. The last time I saw, in pictures, lots of writing and pictures. You can't do that in the chat. Oh, this is spam. That is spam too. Okay, so no important people. Always have spam. I make a mistake and allow different websites, and then when I unsubscribe, it never unsubscribes. What is up with that? You hit the unsubscribe button in the email, and it never unsubscribes you. What's up with that? It doesn't seem like it does. You know what I mean? You still get all these messages, and you think to yourself, didn't I unsubscribe to that like 5 times already? I guess it takes like a month to process. Excuse me while I look through and make sure I didn't miss anything. Sometimes I check and I miss it. I'll miss stuff. I'll miss comments. I'll miss emails. I hate that because with my luck, if I miss something, that's what they ask for. And they never ask me for anything else. Did you see my comment? Did you see my email? What? The only time I didn't check. Yeah. So right now what I'm doing is I'm putting likes on all the bids that I see. If I don't put a like on your bid, that means I can't see it or haven't seen it yet. On the last auction, it was pretty bad. I couldn't see like maybe 10% of the bids until like 10 minutes later. There was a big lag in YouTube last Monday where bids wouldn't show up or comments wouldn't show up until 10 minutes later. Let's see. Danny Moore says, what part of Texas is Brady in? I might be able to make it. It's Central Texas. So the Brady Knapping is at Richards Park in Brady, Texas. Richards Park. You can type it in the GPS. There's no physical address for some reason. It's just type in Richards Park. Richards with apostrophe S. Park. Brady, Texas. And then it's at the Pavilion. You have to go through the main entrance. Well, you go down the road where it says Richards Park. There's a big billboard sign, and it says there's an arrow. You go down that road right where the arrow is, and then you go down for a while, and then you make a right. I think past the big rock wall, and that's the main entrance into the Pavilion area, and that's where you can go camping. There's a shower and bathroom. And then that's where you set up, either as a vendor or as a napper under the pavilion. Let's see here. But if you're a vendor, send me an email at jackcrafty2@gmail.com. And that way I can email you back with the contact info to inform the Knapping sponsors that you're a vendor And I think you need to reserve a spot or something or pay a little fee. It might be like, I don't know, $30 for a vendor fee or something, or $20. I can't remember. Or I don't know how. Most napkins charge the vendor fee. Danny Moore says, never mind. It's smack in the middle of Texas. I won't be able to make it that far. I see. So Red Eyed Patriot is clicking a link to his channel, I suppose. Let's see. Michael or Red Eyed Patriot says, I got a package from Dave Ten Bears today. Some cool stuff. Posts at 8 p.m. Eastern time. I see. So Danny Moore, you can't make it to Central Texas? Mm-hmm. Let's see. GPS says it takes me 28 hours if I don't stop from where I am now to the Knapping. I always stop. If I stop and take my time and not rush, it takes me 36 hours. Traveling and stopping. That's not including sleeping. Yeah. So I break it up into 4 days. Danny Moore says, yeah, it's a lot of driving for one weekend. Yeah. Yep, that's what happens. Depends on how bad you want rocks. Some people say, I'll drive for 2 months. If there's rocks like you say, I'll drive. And there's some people that say, well, I don't want rocks that bad. I got plenty of glass. Let's see, Danny Moore says, I want to go to one really bad. I'll catch one a little closer. Yeah. I understand time constraints and work constraints. I understand that very well. When I was working full-time on salary, sometimes I get called in on the weekends too, on a special shipment or to get it out the door. So I was not completely free on weekends. Yeah. But luckily, it wasn't too far from me. If it's like within 5 hours, I would usually drive it. And yeah, if my boss would call me, I would only be 5 hours away, which usually was okay. Just make sure you're here before it ships out. Okay, fine. I think I can do that. I used to keep track of everything that went into the project, so I had to do the final checklist. Just so you know. I don't know. I don't know why I say these things. It's one of those things that I remember that I used to do that would interfere with a lot of stuff. But yeah, work was a priority. I did get burnt out on that job pretty badly, though. Yeah. My last job was my best paying job. I was in an engineer slot, lots of responsibility. But man, that one burned me out. Let's see. Gary says, Red Eye, do you have any done knives? What's a done knife? DUNN. Lee says, I just got home from Chadron, Nebraska. I had a trapper roundup there. That was 10 hours. Oh, dang. Let's see. Michael or Red Eyed Patriot says, no, I don't have any done knives. I usually wait to be commissioned. Okay, done as in finished knives, but I can make you one. Mm-hmm. So done means finished knives, right? Gary says, I was a knife maker. Mm-hmm. Who else was knife makers? Be interesting to see. I get a lot of requests to like pages that are devoted to knife making on Facebook. Mike Mason says, Finnish like Finland. Let's see. Red Eyed Patriot says, I've never heard of that maker, Dawn. I'll look into them. So it is a maker, Dunn. Yeah, I never heard of that one either. Not that I'm into knives, but I've purchased quite a few, and I've broken quite a few knives, abusing them for bushcraft. Yeah, I do bushcraft too. Yeah, I could have actually devoted my channel to bushcraft instead of napping, dumb old napping. Yeah, I can integrate bushcraft into my channel, but the thing is, when you have an audience that is fairly large or starting to get fairly large, they don't want you to switch things up. Yeah, they want you to stay on track, keep it the same. And the larger the audience, the more on track you got to stay. So if I start deviating into other areas, people drop off, and the watch times and the subscriber counts go down. What's funny is the revenue stays the same. It depends. I don't know why. Well, with my channel anyway. Yeah. Just in case you're curious, if I want to start something different, like a bushcraft type video series, I'm gonna have to post it on a different channel, which I might do, but I don't have plans for that now. I got plans for other types of channels, but I'm a little bit busy right now, so I'm just focusing on the Flintknapping. I'll expand later. Yeah. Let's see. Michael says, I've procrastinated on sending you this knife I got you, Patrick. I'll get it out this week. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm going to be gone after next week, so you can wait until I get back. You don't have to send it right away, because it might arrive later than it might arrive later than I can pick it up. It might be sitting on the front porch for weeks. Alan Cole says, I saw a few of Bill Taylor's finished Obsidian knives at the Fall Glass Butte Knapping. Was one K-bar blade. Pretty sweet. Michael says, seeing Jake getting 300 to 500K views on live streams by doing them vertical so they go into shorts feeds, maybe you should try that. Yeah, but I think he might have actually promoted his live stream, because I can promote my live streams. You know, I can spend up to $1,000, $200, $500,000 to promote a live stream, and it'll get hundreds and hundreds, maybe thousands and thousands of views. It gives you an estimate on how much viewership you'll get when you spend this much money to promote it. I think that's what some of these guys do. When you've got a huge viewer count but not much subscribers, what they're usually doing is promoting the video. Let's see. Let's see. Here we go. Let's see. But, filming it in vertical, I suppose that might work. But I think it's more having to do with the presentation itself. People will scroll past it if it's not exactly what they want to see. If it looks like, when I look at Jake's live streams, it looks like every other type of well-presented video. So it's almost indistinguishable from bushcraft or building shelters or wilderness type of hunting. They all have the same type of format where it's sunlight. You're not really getting in-depth knowledge, and it's got that same framing. So people will stop. because that's the format they like in most cases. They won't look at something that's a little bit obscure. Like I'm sitting in a dark room in front of a backdrop that's not typical, and I've got this little setup here that's not typical either. People will just scroll right past it. And if I do this in vertical, it's the same thing. They'll just scroll past it because it's not in that format that people usually click on. And plus, I never promote any of my videos. Let's see. Red Eyed Patriot says it brings some trolls, but the watch hours pile up. Yeah. Gary says, I don't care for Jake's live videos, but watch his regular ones. I see. Yeah, I've seen a couple of Jake's regular videos. Yeah. Let's see. Alan Cole says, Jake is sitting in a chair napping in his garage. Yes, yes. And it's a top-down view, like the camera's up high, looking down, almost like a GoPro view. I've seen that too, where the GoPro is on the napper's head with a headband or whatever. Those are kind of shaky videos, but I think Jake has his camera up high. I don't know how he's viewing the viewfinder. Let's see. Red Eyed Patriot says, I prefer the setup you've got. It's laid back and relaxed. It's easy to moderate. Awesome. Oh yeah, and Jake wears sandals. He doesn't wear boots or shoes. He has open toe sandals. Yeah, I can't nap that way at all. It's bad enough that I nap in such a way that the flakes go down into my shoes, and I wear gaiters to prevent that. Yeah, but that's as far as I go. I would never nap barefoot or in sandals. Let's see here. Bushy's here. Hey, I'll miss tonight. Just got to camp. I just got to the camp. Okay, I shot my first crossbow buck. I drug it half a mile by myself. Oh, dang. Sal says, Patrick, I split a mulberry log yesterday, about 4-inch diameter and about 62 inches long. What? Want a piece of that too? I'm already bringing you an Osage also. Let's see. Mulberry. Yeah. Yeah, I'll take a look at it and see. I do like working with mulberry. Yeah, thanks, Sal. Yeah, I'll take a look at it and see. If it's too wonky, I probably won't. I probably won't take it if it's too wonky. I'm looking for really almost perfect staves. Let's see. I know some guys like to make snaky staves or like to make snaky bows from staves that are all wonky, but I'm going to try to stick to almost perfect staves for now. It makes it so much easier. Bushy says, I was drinking beer the whole way, dragging that deer. Dragging deer and drinking beer. Gary says, congratulations, Bushy. I won the door prize. Mike Mason says, eat that deer heart, buddy. Let's see here. Bushy says, or Frodo Joe is Bushy. 68 and dragging, I was going to pack it out. Sal says, okay, I'll bring them. You'll get the first pick, and then I'll ask the rest of the crew if they want it. I see. Okay, good. That sounds good. Marty says, huh? I thought I did something wrong. Let's see. Where's the... What did you do? I don't see any previous wrong comment. 10 more minutes and I'll start napping. I'm going to walk the computer over to the shop. It's already kind of dark, so we'll probably have the same situation last time. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'll bring this light setup to get more light on the situation. Yeah. Well, I can't hold both the computer and the light. Let's see. Bushy says, no, just drinking at camp. The heart is going to be pickled. Oh, dang. I never had pickled deer meat or pickled deer heart. Mike Mason says, oh, yeah, talking my language. So, yeah, I've never had pickled deer meat. Sounds interesting. Let's see. Mike Mason says, I've not had pickled meat before, but I'm getting closer to giving it a try. Yeah, I would give it a try for sure. I've had pickled sausages. I don't know. Are you making sausages, Bushy? I would make sausages from some of that stuff. Bushy says, my hand is all Band-Aids from Obsidian today. Oh, dang. Yeah, I've learned to wear gloves. I used to not so much, but I did tape up my fingers in the beginning because there was certain cuts that I always would get on the inside of my fingers, right here and right there on these two. The flakes would fly off when doing indirect percussion and cut me right there and right there. So I would wrap my fingers with duct tape right there. These two fingers, the ring finger and the middle finger, I'd wrap them with duct tape. But then I started, once they came up with better gloves, the ones that are dipped in that rubber, they're very tough cloth gloves and they dip them in rubber. Once they invented those and started to make them available everywhere, then I started using those gloves. But I tore up dozens of pairs of gardening gloves trying to figure out which gardening gloves would last the longest, but none of them did. But the newfangled gloves are a lot better. Let's see. Mike Mason says, I can't wait to see if Obsidian is going to be meaner to me than glass. No, it shouldn't. Glass is really nasty. Yeah. Bushy says, yes, I make a lot of sausage. All right, awesome. Making me hungry. And venison Slim Jims, too. I'm going to wear gloves from now on. Good. Tommy Taylor says he made it. Awesome. Yeah, we're going to see how the napping session goes. It's already getting dark. But it should be light enough. You might be able to see the skunks out front when I go to the shop. Let me go now, because if I don't go right now, I might not make it to the shop. Because the skunks might be sitting there on the front porch, not letting me get out. So here we go. Let's go to the shop. And if it's light enough, you can see outside. Yeah, we still got some daylight. But nobody's here yet. They're usually right there. But I haven't put any food out or anything. So I got my pumpkin sitting out there. I already cut down all the plants. They were withering away, but I saved the pumpkins. All right, let's go into the shop. All right, let's see. So this is pretty much going to be the view, right? We should be able to see I've got a bunch of Obsidian bifaces that I need to refurbish. So they're in various states of being bifaced. Most of these are from Bill Taylor. Let me close the shop door here. Okay. Yeah, I don't need this open anymore. It gets too hot if I close the shop door during the day. Okay, let's see. I didn't bring my mouse. Last time I brought the mouse, it was in my pocket and it was pushing all sorts of buttons or messing everything up. So I'm not bringing it today. Yeah, I'm using my laptop and my laptop camera. Okay, so let's get this show on the road. Where's my apron? Let me see. I don't see it. Did I walk into the house with it the other day? Let me see. Where is it? Can't nap without my apron. Yeah. So yeah, Obsidian. I can nap Obsidian in the shop. I will refuse to nap it in the house. No glass or Obsidian in the house. So here we go. Ready? What did I miss? Blair Witch Travel. Yeah, but you saw the pumpkins, right? I had 4 pumpkins this year. And I had never grown pumpkins before, but I had to water them quite a bit. There wasn't much rain this year, and I ended up with 4 nice pumpkins. I took away all the plants because they're all withered, right? And I just left the pumpkins. There's one big one that I got inside the house, and those 2 on the outside. And I cooked the first one and added to my soups, but then I started gaining too much weight. So I don't know what I'm going to do with these other pumpkins. Jack-o'-lanterns, probably. They should last until I get back. Yeah, I'm going to get back in the 3rd week of October. So what should I do first? We can see, right? Kind of, sort of. There's the issue of the blurring effect. But what I'm going to do in the shop, eventually I'm going to put a better backdrop back here and better lighting and have this as my studio. Okay? The shop is going to be my studio as well as my shop. I've cleared it out enough. I still got stuff in here that I need to figure out what I'm going to do with. Let's see. Give you a little tour, perhaps. See, I keep my bandsaw and my sander in here, but I don't know what to do with those. I use those all the time, but I'm not going to have room for these and other tools when I set up my lighting and other studio items. So I don't know what I'm going to do. And I'm not going to construct my second shed until next year. I'm going to build another shed, a real one. This is a plastic one. This is the one that my stepmother had set up. She had someone put it together for her. And it's okay for now, but I want a real shop with wood walls that I can mount stuff to. I can mount stuff to this wall, but it's so flimsy. I can't put anything heavy up on there. I can't put heavy duty shelves, or I can't put in a fold up shop table. You know, like if I had a proper shed, I could mount a heavy duty retractable bench that's wall mounted, and I just bring it up and set up my tools on it whenever I need to. Anyways, let's see. Obsidian live stream. Yeah. Can you see? This is like cinnamon colored obsidian. This is banded. I apologize in advance because we're going to see a lot of blurriness. All right. But I'll try to give you a view. This is not going to work that well. Try to give you a view of the material as I'm napping it. Try to do some close-up stuff to show the flake scars. Okay, so here we go. I'll try to pick some difficult ones from the box. Let's see. Something with a curve in it. Yeah, like these. See how it's curved? How do I uncurve it? That kind of thing. These are easy peasy. The ones that are already thinned down and it just broke. See, it snapped. So that one's a difficult one. Anything with a curve, it's starting to, this one was curved a little bit too. So let's do that one. That one's got a turtle back on it. So you know what I mean. I'm going to start refurbishing a bunch of these. Whatever I have time for in these 45 minutes. And I have these gaiters to prevent glass from going down in my shoes. Okay? Or the Obsidian, whatever. I bought a new set of boppers. See, we got 21 people. Yeah, we got our crew here. It doesn't look like there's new people in the feed. But see, I've got a bunch of solid head copper. They're not lead filled. They're just solid copper. I'll be using these. All right, so I'll see what I can do as far as trimming. Yeah. This is a 3.8 ounce. It's not the smallest one. The smallest one is 2.7 ounces. I'm not going to use that one. It's just a little bit too small. Yeah. So I'll be chatting while I'm napping. Do the yap and nap. And I can goof around on the live streams. I'm trying not to goof around on the regular videos. Why? Because I found out that if I'm more consistent with the regular videos and not mix it up between tutorial and yap and nap, I get more views or a longer engagement time. Not more views, but a longer engagement time. But I can do the yap and nap on the live streams. I don't monetize the live streams, so I can do whatever I want. Yeah. And if they don't like it, they can lump it. Yeah, we used to say, if you don't like it, lump it. All right, so we're going to switch over now to the indirect percussion. I'll be doing mostly indirect percussion, although I'll bring out these little boppers. And that's it. It's refurbish time. Lots of refurbishing and whatever I can think of while I'm napping. And when I get another lighting set up, we should be able to see this a lot better. And are there any differences between Obsidian and chert with indirect percussion? Are there major differences? Yeah, but there's only like one major difference. I don't have to hit as hard. That's it. Everything else is the same. Same angles. Same abrading. Just slight tweaks. It's basically the same everything with just tweaks. And some of the tweaks are almost imperceptible. But the technique is the same. You can put a piece of chert in my hand or a piece of obsidian, and everything looks the same. But there's slight tweaks. And I don't have to hit as hard with Obsidian. That's it. You let the subconscious do all the complicated stuff. Because it is highly complicated. When I want to actually try to give you the exact differences, it's highly complicated. And I can't get the physics correct. There's completely different fracture mechanics with glass compared to chert or flint. But it looks the same in practice. Yeah. It looks the same. Same technique, with just minor tweak. So what do I have coming up in the future? Well, it's the same old on this channel. I'm going to be working on other channels, and I'll let you know what's coming up on those. If you're interested, I'll let you know on the channel news. But for now, I'm focusing on this channel. And then improve it as far as the quality of the videos, the format, so that it looks like other popular videos. And we'll see what happens. If I don't get more engagement or interest in the channel after I make it look like other channels, I'll just say, too much trouble. But I'm gonna invest time and money in developing the look of the channel so it looks like other channels. Let's see how that goes. Because I didn't really set it up to be a popular channel. I set it up to be very niche or very niche. For just a small audience. But if I want to be smart about it, I might as well get my money's worth. You know, I need to also make up for the money I invest in it. So I should concern myself a little bit more with the presentation. Yeah. And once I do that, if it's successful, I can tell you how to do it. If you have questions on how to manage your channel or whatever, if you want to do the same thing. Yeah. Let's see, who do we got here? We have anybody new join us? Same old. Let's see. I don't see anybody new in the chat. If you're new, let us know where you are. That way, there might be someone near you that you can meet with, exchange information and materials. This one's a nice piece of silver sheen type of stuff. I don't know if you can see it, but with different angles, it does show a silver sheen. So this one is probably at the stage where I can stop and move on to the next one. Yeah. I'm not going to give you a play-by-play on each flake. This is nice material. Yeah. Bill sent me some awesome stuff. These little bifaces that he did are made on high-grade obsidian. Yeah, so that's it for this. It's refurbished, teardrop shape, bold flakes and limiting the step fractures, although it's hard to limit them on Obsidian. See, you see them right there in the middle. But it's easy to get rid of those later, relatively speaking. Much easier to get rid of those on Obsidian than it is on Flint or Church. As long as it has some meat on it. This still has some meat, so I can run flakes across. It's got good convexity. I like to have a ratio of 5-to-1 or 4-to-1 on these when I've set them aside. So when I start thinning, I got good convexity. I don't have to be all that careful. Now, I can also set them aside when they're a lot thinner, yes. As long as I have a lot that are really thin set aside, it's okay, because then I'm in that mindset. I know I had to be very, very careful, and it's the same with all of them that I set aside. It's good to have them all the same stage when I set them aside. That way, when I get to them, I have the same mindset for all of them. So right now I have the same mindset for all of them because they're all kind of wonky to start with. So I know that, okay, I just got to refurbish, which means try to determine where the center line is going to be. Like this one's really wonky. I don't really see a good opportunity for a long piece. So I'm going to have to lose some length on this one. I'll try to preserve the length as much as possible, although this is a difficult one. So I'll measure it and see. It's 3 inches. Anyway, you can't see it. And I'll see if I can maintain as much as possible. As much length as possible. There's 2 ways I could do this. It's 2 3/4 in that direction. Can't see. 2 3/4 in that direction, but it's 3 in this direction. So let's see how close I can get. Sometimes I can actually make a longer piece with the, using the shorter dimension. I don't know if that doesn't make sense, but the overall longest dimension may be along the curve, but the shorter dimension, like here, is not along the curve. So I might actually, if I try to make an arrowhead going this way, it might be actually longer than trying to make an arrowhead going this way. But I think I can at least get 2 3/4 going the longest way. So it would be the same either way. Yeah. So I just got to make that decision right now and then attack it like I would attack a spall or something. I'm trying to see where the center line is. Yeah, it's the same kind of mess either way. Okay. So it doesn't really matter which way I do it. I'll just knock off what I don't need after I decide where the arrowhead's going to be. Knock off everything that's not the arrowhead. Yeah. These are easier to work than slabs, in my opinion. Slabs are very delicate. But I've been requested to work a lot of slabs, so I'll be working those too when I get back from my trip. I might show some knapping, or I'll film myself knapping, but not live, at the knap-in and post some knapping videos from the knap-in. Yeah. So I'll do some videos while I'm at the knap-in, and then I'll upload them later where there's good reception. or even when there's not good reception, I can just upload them overnight. They'll take 6 to 8 hours for a 30-minute video. But if I upload that overnight, it'll work. Hopefully. There's no guarantee, though. Luckily, there is electricity at the Knapping. Don't have to worry about that. All right, so I almost got rid of the curve. Yeah. I still need to trim around the outside. Get rid of the extra material that I don't need. Obsidian is good if you don't want to strain yourself. When I want an easy physically easy napping session, I'll just nap some Obsidian. Yeah. It's physically much easier. Mentally, maybe not, but physically, yes. Mentally, Obsidian can drive you nuts. And with bigger pieces of Obsidian, I wear 2 gloves because with a bigger piece of Obsidian, sometimes the flakes jump backwards. And they're not little bitty flakes, they're bigger flakes, and they'll cut. These little bitty flakes like this, if they jump backwards, you can't see. But little ones, if they jump backwards, they don't cut you. Why did they jump backwards? I don't know. I don't know if they're bouncing off the glove or something. I'm not really paying attention to that part. I just know that it does it sometimes. Yeah, like there's one that just jumped up, almost hit me in the face. I think it's, bouncing off the gloves. If my glove wasn't there, it'd be bouncing off my finger and maybe risking cutting. So I'm just now thinning the biface. Yeah, because I think I got most of that curve out. It's still, see, this part down here is really flat, but this is the part that was scooped. So I made it flat. Still has a little bit of that scoop left. But what I'm doing now is removing mass from the other side. Moving all the extra stuff I don't need. And then I'll get back to the other side and make it more convex. But right now, within reason, and still need a lot of meat on here, but within reason, I'm taking off what I don't need. And once I think, oh, that's good enough, I'll make sure that I flake across this piece or part that's scooped out. I don't want that scoop out in the finished piece at all, obviously. Unless I want to make it look like an artifact, then I'd leave it in there. Yeah. Artifacts are not perfect. Well, most of them are not. Yeah, sometimes they left in the original surface or a mistake or whatever. As long as it works, they didn't care too much. And I was watching a video on art and when cultures focus on the artistic aspects. It was mostly European art they were talking about in the video, but in general, society needs to take care of the basics, or people need to have their basics taken care of before they can actually spend time making things beautiful. Yeah, once you get past survival mode and get the food, shelter, and clothing set to where you can actually obtain those things easier than on a survival level, then you can devote your time to artistic endeavors. So whenever you see a very artistic piece as an artifact, you can pretty much be sure that they had taken care of their survival or their needs first, and it was well established. Their life way was well established, so they didn't need to spend all their time surviving. They could devote some of their time to developing their skills and their artistic abilities, or incorporating art into their everyday items. What's strange about nowadays is that as society becomes more advanced, art starts to take a back seat for some reason. In the name of efficiency in mass production and stuff like that. What is easier to produce, something that looks really beautiful or something that's really simple looking and maybe kind of ugly as far as production goes? So as societies get even more advanced, art tends to be something that is not necessary because of efficiency. And sometimes because of philosophy. People get wrapped up in studying different philosophies because they have plenty of time on their hands, and they can ignore the artistic aspect for philosophical reasons. Yeah. So I thought that was interesting. Because some artifacts are very, very well made, and you would think to yourself, man, that guy must have just spent every day trying to figure out how to make his work more and more beautiful. And obviously, he wasn't thinking about where his next meal's coming from. He knew how to get it, or someone provided it for him. Or both. Anyways, this is almost done. So let's see what the total length is. 2 3/4. Amazing. So it would have been the same length either way on that. And I tried to flake past or flake into this scoop out. It's not totally done yet, but I think I have enough meat in there when I thin it down to get rid of scoop out. See that? There's a little bit of a scoop out right there. So I want to be able to flake across that. I think there's enough meat in it to do that later. Yeah. Next, on this larger piece, so I was thinking, when you see artifacts that are kind of crude, it may indicate that their survival was not that easy. So they didn't spend much time, or they couldn't spend much time on their artistic endeavors. All right, so this one is not that bad. Yeah, these are not that bad as far as bifaces go. They're a little bit wonky, but they're not too bad. See, they've got a lot of spots that are uneven in the middle, which makes it difficult to run flakes. When I do a normal video or regular close-up video, I'll show you how I deal with those. There's plenty more where this came from. The next regular video that I'm going to do is also going to be these probably. I've got some other ones that are much bigger bifaces. See, these are much bigger. So I'll be working on bifaces for a while. So you'll be able to see from different perspectives what's going on. This produces a lot of glass dust. I've got a filtration system set up, which is good because I didn't do it last winter, and I'm afraid that I might have inhaled a little bit too much glass dust, but not this year. I'm not going to make the same mistake. I don't feel any different as far as my lungs go. I have not gotten a lung infection either. Usually when the lungs are not healthy, you'll get an infection, shortness of breath, some side effects. I have not had any side effects. No, which is good. I think I'm lucky. I do have masks, but they don't filter out everything. I've got to get a respirator with very expensive filters that'll filter out those microparticles of silica. And you got to change out the filters pretty often in order to be effective. So I'm taking off little flakes. I can't run long flakes when the surface is really wonky. Yeah. So I'm just going to take little flakes here and there. Yep. Just little by little. And once I get used to the material, it goes faster and faster. And luckily, this batch is high-grade stuff. I have not encountered any low-grade stuff yet in all of these little bifaces, which makes it good. Oh, yes. Less anxiety. That's always good. Should I take a long flake? Sometimes I think I'm going to need to take a long flake, but I got to get ready. Yeah. I got to make sure I'm close to the obstacle. I'll take a long flake, but not too long. Yeah. Because encountering one of these bumps usually works. I can usually drive a flake, especially with Obsidian. But if it messes up and it's already this thin, it messes it up really bad. there's not much room to repair it if it's already thin. That's probably why he gave me this particular piece as a challenge. It's hard to work with it when it's already thin. You got to be really careful. Everything is damage controlled, in other words. Yeah, okay. I think that worked. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't smash the edge. I don't see any cracks developing anywhere. I think I still have enough meat in there to where I can run flakes across. Yeah. I didn't scoop it. The flakes didn't dive. Not yet, anyway. I am crushing the edge a little bit. Let's see. That's usually the case with dacite anyway. But it's annoying when the edges crush. Because you got to remove that whole crushed spot. You cannot nap through it in many cases. It'd be nice if you crush it and then next time just hit it harder and blast your way through, but it doesn't work that way. It seems like it would, but it just makes it worse. You get more and more crushing. It kind of compounds the situation. You got to remove all that crushed area. And still, it didn't. And sometimes it still doesn't travel far enough. All right, here we go. Take a dicey shot. Yeah, okay. Thank goodness for high-grade dacite. Because right now I'm trying to control the endings of the flake, try to predict the endings to get rid of the obstacle. That's not the way to do it. That's the last resort, to try to use the ending of the flake. Luckily, since this is high-grade stuff, it's more predictable. So it worked pretty much. There's still a little bit left of that nasty spot there, but it's almost gone. Now the other side. Okay. What time is it? All right, we still got plenty of time. See, this other side has a dip in it right there too. So this had a dip and a weird spot through the middle. And what I did is I took flakes off from either side and crept up on it and shot a couple flakes, long flakes, into it. I had to make sure it was convex enough to do it though. This on the other side though is not convex. So I'm going to lose some width and making it more convex. Yeah. Should I have just made it more narrow to begin with? Yeah, in this case I could have just done that and just removed a lot more of around the outside to begin with. Now that I look back on it, hindsight is 2020. Could have just trimmed it all first. Yeah. It's all right. Give me some practice on the material. Yeah. Oops. Almost took too much off of that one. I'm taking in flakes off of both sides. Wherever I see that a flake is necessary, I'll just flip it over and take one from the other side. Even though I'm working mainly on this side now, I'll flip it over and take some flakes from the other side. If I see a lumpy spot, which there's a lot of lumpy spots on this one. I gotta be careful not to crush the edges. Man, these flakes, obsidian flakes will jump. Yeah. These flakes end up flying all across the room, all across the shop. I find obsidian flakes everywhere, in everything, whenever I knap obsidian. Sometimes I go, dang it, how did they get way up there? And then I had sometimes I bring a drink in here too, and then when I forget that, just my luck, sometimes a flake can go in the drink. Have I had that happen before? Yeah, but luckily only a couple times, and it got into my mouth, but I did not swallow it. These little flakes, you can just feel them. And oops. All right, so no more of that, especially with obsidian. Yes, it's so nice to have good quality material. When you have good quality material, you can run a flake across and it won't dive. A lot of times on obsidian, you can have a nice convexity and it'll still dive in. But on this one, it didn't. I hit a big flake right there. It's so nice. Yeah. Of course, there's a little bit of step fracturing going on there, but oh well. At least it didn't dive in. This is already really thin, comparatively speaking. This is thinner than my other preforms or bifaces. So I'm just making it more regular now. I still have to do a lot of flaking across to get rid of that little dip. But as I get more narrow, I can do that. And with obsidian, you can take off really thin flakes and they won't break up. On high-grade obsidian, I can take off really, really thin flakes and they won't break up. They won't step fracture, in other words. It makes it much easier to do damage control when you know the flakes are going to be nice. If you get a material that does not flake well, the flakes are difficult to generate. If it's difficult to generate long flakes, it just makes it miserable to do damage control. Yeah. If you can't get long flakes to travel, you have to make it more narrow. There's no way around it. Yeah. But in this case, I don't have to. I can keep it as wide as I possibly can. Or I can keep the thought that I should keep it wide. Does that make sense? I don't have to discard the notion that I can keep it wide. If the flakes are traveling, I can say to myself, yeah, it can stay wide. Don't have to worry about it. All right, so yeah, all that just to get it into a situation where Run some more flakes in here, make it more convex. I take advantage of the edge being nice and thick. When I do this grinding, take advantage wherever there's opportunities on either side. I'm still working on this side, but if there's an opportunity, I'll take a flake off the other side. It does get thinner and thinner and thinner, but if I keep the flakes really thin that I'm removing, it doesn't reduce too much of the thickness. How do I do that? A lot of inward force. It doesn't work with all types of material. It works with material that allows you to do long flakes. Like this stuff here, it's allowing me to do long flakes, so I don't have to dig in really. I don't have to dig in a lot on the edge. I can just barely tap it, and it'll drive a thin, long flake. Whereas in some material, I can't just tap the edge. I got to really dig into the edge to generate a long flake. Both digging into the edge and inward force on some materials, if they're tough. But this one is not. This one is cooperative. So I can generate flakes across and make it look pretty without reducing too much of the thickness. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but when you're trying to increase the convexity, you got to have some meat in the middle. And if you thin too much, you got to leave in all those mistakes. Because there's no way you can get to them if you don't have enough material. And sometimes it's very, very subtle. Yeah. And then when you're new, you don't know this stuff. Okay, starting the step fracture. I'm pushing it a little bit too far. Okay, so am I almost done with this one? I should have probably put this aside already, but yeah. It's just, I need to do finishing on it. It's already thin enough, but it's got some weird looking flaking. To call it good, I would need to have it look like this. More like this side. See, so it looks like there's flakes going across in the normal way. Now I got a little step fracture right there. That's how I can tell I'm reaching the limits of my ability. That little step fracture right there. But other than that, I like the way the flakes look. Might be a little step fracture right there too. I might be able to pick those. See if I can pick that one out. Yeah, it's not picking out. Let's see. Oh yeah, it is. So that step fracture right there, I picked it out, but there's still some in there. Anyway, that's when I know that I'm reaching the limit of my thinning ability. So I want to do that on this side. I want to have flakes going across. It's not too bad. And I think there's still enough meat in the middle, although it's going to get really, really thin. Yeah, as long as I make it a little bit more narrow, it should be all right. Okay, that's it on that one. Let's try this other piece really quick. So I'm just going to do this quickly. As quick as possible. And this time I'm going to make it narrow from the very beginning. The other one I just picked at it and try to keep it wide. But on this one, I'll make it narrow from the very beginning. See how it works out. Should make it quicker. Let's see. Make it even more narrow than this. Yes, let's see. Yeah, okay. So trim it as narrow as I think it's going to be, very close to the final dimensions. Okay. So the width to thickness ratio, I think it's important to measure it at this stage. 50 millimeters by 12. It's 4:1. Okay, so reduce it down to 4:1. It's wonky, but I think I can get it to where I need it to be faster than the last one. So here I go. Now I'm going to do the preliminary thinning. It's a little bit easier to predict because it's not as wide. I don't need to be as careful. So let's see how it goes. Let's see. Yikes, there is quite a bit of curvature on that one side. Yikes. There's some crushing that I was not expecting. Anyways, yeah, when I'm hitting this hard, the crushing is kind of part of the territory. Hopefully no overshots and no big bites. I had to be careful on the tip so as not to lose any length. I just lost a little bit. But that's because it's slightly curved. Yeah. Try to limit it. Try to limit the amount of loss of length as much as I can. Sometimes I'll leave a little bit of the curve remaining in there and only remove it at the very last. That's how I know I'm maximizing it. I don't know. Is it taking just as long? I don't know. It seems like I can hit it harder when it's thicker like this. But I got to make sure I don't miss abrading the edges enough. I have to abrade the edges enough for these big strikes. Otherwise I get crushing and then I reduce the width way too much. trying to eliminate those crushed areas, I can sometimes make that mistake, and then I have to reduce the width a lot to get rid of those crushed areas. That's the hazard of removing too much width in the beginning. If you end up crushing it and removing more width, then you're in trouble. But again, luckily, this is high-grade stuff. Yeah. So what do you do on low-grade stuff? Well, you get the tissues out because you're going to be crying in some cases. You're not going to be able to do what you want to do. Yeah. Some people don't want to hear it, but yeah. You can't do the impossible on some of these. That's just the way it goes. What time is it? 7:51. Yeah. Let me just finish this up. Only take a few more minutes, if that. Yeah, like that. Yep. Alrighty. Good enough. So it worked out taking a lot of the width off in the beginning. I still see some lumpy areas, but it's straight. And it didn't take me that long. I was crushing and I did get some cracks. With the hard hits, you get these little cracks also. Not just crushed edges, but you get the cracks. And that reduces more width. So you got to be very careful when you reduce a lot of width in the beginning. It can make it easier to drive flakes because the edges are very robust. But there's a risk of cracks and crushings when you're required to use a lot of force on Obsidian. Okay, so there you go. I refurbished 4 little blades in 45-50 minutes. Cool. All right. What is that? It was 4 blades, about 12 minutes each. That's pretty good, I think. Should I walk back to the house or end it here? No, I'll just finish up the live stream in here. I got too much glass. I'll dust all this stuff off later. Okay, so what do we got? It looks so funny. Looks so strange. Calzone napping. Danny Moore says calzone napping. What does that mean? I wish that light was better. No, it's not going to work. Yeah, I'm going to go inside. I hate the way that lighting looks. Hey, Marty, $9.99 super chat. Today is Sal's birthday. Make sure really and wish him happy birthday. Is it your birthday, Sal? Today? Wow. Cool. You should have given the super chat to Sal then. I didn't know it was your birthday, Sal. Happy birthday. Or I knew it and I forgot. Awesome. And unless I write it down or put it on my calendar, I won't remember for next year. What am I going to do? September. Yeah, I got to remember that somehow. Put it on my calendar. All right, so I'm going inside because this is driving me nuts. The lighting in here is driving me nuts. on the video. I mean, as far as the quality goes for the live stream, this is what I work. This is how I work normally, so it doesn't bother me when I'm working. But seeing myself on the live stream is annoying. Let me empty out my shoes of flakes. Hold on. Even though I have the gaiters on, sometimes the flakes still get in there. Yeah. Okay. All right, let's walk back to the house. I don't see any critters. Oh, there's one. You can't see him. There was one out eating sunflower seeds. I just dumped the cat food. Okay. Yeah, now I can use the mouse to operate this thing. Okay. So yeah, thanks, Marty. $9.99 super chat. And it's Sal's birthday. I got to make sure I write that somewhere. Alan Cole says, very nice, Patrick. I vote for the shed to be outfitted for live streams. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Yep. Sal says, awesome napping tonight. I appreciate the videos. You're welcome very much. Let's see. There was one, there was a skunk out front, but I tried to turn the camera to see, but you can't see. I couldn't see the skunk on the camera. And it was a shy one too, so it took off. So I couldn't get close to it enough to capture it. It was eating the sunflower seeds. I put sunflower seeds out front for the squirrels and stuff, for birds and squirrels, but skunks also eat sunflower seeds. I didn't know until I saw. Until I saw that recently when I started putting sunflower seeds out front. Okay. Let's see. Keithers is here. I've been here about 10 minutes, just checking in, everybody. Happy birthday, Sal. And hello, Patrick and Nappers. Yes, yes. I'm going to try to catch up with the chat here. So who's owning the opalized glass? I don't know. Just check the auction. Yeah. I'll check the auction in a minute. Ed Gould says, I had to make a new password for Google. Well, hopefully you didn't make a new password on a scamming phishing expedition. You shouldn't have to make a new password for Google. Sometimes they'll scam you and they'll hack into your account if you try that. So just be careful when if you get prompted to change your password, be careful, right? Everyone should know that already. It took me a while to figure that one out. Sometimes the scammers are pretty clever. They'll put up a website that looks just like Google or one of your other apps. It'll ask you to change your password, and then they'll hack into your account. Let's see. Danny Moore says, are you going to do Danny Collins' Big Obsidian? Yeah, I am going to do that on video. So don't worry. If I do it, it will definitely all be on video. I'm going to try to do it. I'm going to try to do it this week. Yeah. I've got most of everything packed or set aside to pack. I should have enough time to do that. It's going to be several videos to nap that big piece. I'm not going to be able to nap it in 45 minutes. It's going to have to be like 5 45-minute sessions. Let's see. Ed Gould says, I couldn't get the chat. Yeah, but I think, Ed, you're on a computer that's not working that great. Been getting all kinds of crap lately. I had to cancel all my cards and redo PayPal. Dang, that's not good. Bill Hansen says, when are you leaving? I think on the 6th, 7th. I think on the 6th of October. Clint Evans says, just made it. Hello, nappers. Patrick, I'm not having any luck finding plain white Burlington. I can get some white Novaculite if that helps. No, don't worry about it. I got some white shirt. I found some that was stashed away. I forget who gave it to me. But I do have some white shirts. Yeah. I'm thinking, yeah, when I bring it out and do it on video, I'll also bring out the name of who sent it to me. Because I think I've got the address. I cut out the address labels and stick them with the shirt. And I'm pretty sure I've got that with the white shirt that I've got. Ed Gould says, I'm sorry I'm late. Don't worry about it. We're still on the air. Alan Cole says, Tommy Taylor says, happy birthday, Sal. He's stuck moderating Gulf Coasts live. I see. Cool. Ed Gould says, I'm waiting for AI. Let's see. Danny Moore. One small piece of the KRF I got from Marty with blonde and black lines. It's a pretty piece. That sounds cool. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to end the live stream. How old are you, Sal? Says Ed. Or asks Ed. Let's see. I'm looking back on the chat to see what else. So it looks like I can do the live streams from the shed, right? Because there was no interruptions in transmission. I wasn't checking on that. Let me know if there was any interruptions in transmission from the shed. 46. Sal is 46. That's a good age. Gary says Sal is 12 now. Don't take that. Say, don't give me no shit. Let's see. No interrupting. Yeah, Sal says, I'm going on 15. Bill says, no, but lighting could be better. Yeah, of course. I'm going to get the lighting fixed. It just costs hundreds of dollars. Yeah. Luckily, not thousands of dollars, but it costs money to get a better lighting setup. Plus, I have to upgrade my electrical connection to the shed, too. Let's see. It seems like a good signal to me, says Danny Moore. Okay, good. So I didn't notice any interruptions, and I'm glad it's going to work. The stream was smooth, says Mike Mason. Okay, good. All right. That's it, guys. Thank you for showing up. It's good to see everybody. If I missed saying hi to somebody, I apologize. I'm looking back. Kiefer's is here. Who else did I maybe not say hi to? I guess I think I said hi to everybody. All right. If I didn't say hi, I apologize. Thank you, everybody. Alan says the stream was awesome. Thank you. Thank you. All right. The next live stream is Wednesday. Yeah, I'll be doing live streams this week, Wednesday and Friday. and I'll try to get as many videos in as possible before I leave. Okay. Thank you. I'm going to look at the auction now. Have a good night. Bye-bye.